The family roadster is all gassed up. The cooler is loaded with Yoo-Hoos and peanut butter with Dorito sandwiches. And we have our suitcase full of DVDs and a DVD player. We're ready for our weekend vacation. We're really roughing it this weekend. That's why we only have DVDs and no Blu-rays or 4Ks. Everyone, make sure you tinkle before we leave because horror takes a vacation on this episode of Attack of the Killer Podcast.
Attention planet Earth and beyond. Stay tuned for Attack of the Killer Podcast. 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 Yay.
What?
Welcome, everyone, to your weekend getaway, Attack of the Killer Podcast. I am your ship's captain, Insane Mike. This is episode 369. And we'll be talking about vacation horror movies. Now, if this is your first time listening to the show, we're a horror movie podcast that finally is talking about horror movies. And we talk about horror movies within a certain topic. We're just friends hanging out, talking about horror movies, shooting the shit, you know, as you do. Yeah. So there may be spoilers. And trust me, if they're not gonna, I'm gonna be spoiling the shit out of these movies. I'm just gonna say that right now. So there. Suck it. When you're planning your next vacation, don't forget to join our Patreon. At jointheattackers.com, you can sign up and become part of the Killer Podcast family that we call The Attackers. As such, you can get all kinds of extra content and goodies exclusive to the podcast family. You can get our YouTube shows, membership card, certificate, even a sticker. You get original art by me called Mikey's Monsters, and even our bonus episodes. As a matter of fact, next week's bonus episode is a really special one. We just talk.
Well, we do that every time.
But this is different.
Oh. It is.
We rap philosophical? Would that how you would describe it?
Rap? Yeah.
We rap.
I thought you said we just talked.
That is rap. There are two ways you can enjoy the bonus episodes. You can listen to it when it comes out on the opposite weeks of the show, or watch the live stream as we record it. And if you do, as an attacker, we invite you to be part of the conversation by chatting with us in the comments. We'll read them on the show. Also, becoming an attacker, you can get invited to our exclusive chat, the Attack of the Killer Chat. You can also pick movies for our watch parties and Patreon picks episodes, all that fun stuff, and more. You get more for your money than those other podcasts. Don't just take my word for it. Just ask these attackers right here.
Timothy Lenner, Roman Doppelfeld, Larry Watanabe, Brett J. Royer, Jessica Irish, Chris Cook, Brian Gotzel, Stefan Sitter, Brandy Moore, Andrew Mahler, Rodney Dean Hutchinson Jr., Carmen DeHague, Abraham Ariano, Andrew Bentler, Casey Kelderman, Tony Miller, Mike Clayton, Rose Talashoma, Abe Kirshner, Lisa Cavalier, Holly Berg, Bill Fisher, Greg Dedrick, Sam Lenz, Garth Jacobson, Brett White, Tiffany DeWeese, Scott Reepsman, and Chris Collins.
Now read that backwards.
No.
You too can be on that list. All you have to do is go to jointheattackers.com, pick the tier that best suits you, and become an attacker today. And now it's time to introduce you to, wait for it, the podcast crew. If you were to ask this guy to look up the word vacation in the dictionary, he would say, see the word tour. Jason!
Hey! It accidentally gets Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so happy you're here. Sure.
He wanted to take a vacation to the mountains because he thought it would be funny. It's because he heard they were hill areas. Tad.
Ha ha.
If you like that one, wait for this one. He was vacationing in New York during a bad storm. It was raining cats and dogs, and he said the only thing worse was hailing taxis. Brian.
We couldn't find any real humor, so please accept this substitute.
All right, then fine. I'm done talking. Let's turn it over to Tad with What We Watched.
All right, we're in the middle of summer blockbuster season, and I guarantee my friend Brian has gone and seen all of them. Brian, what have you watched?
Well, we talked about going to see a blockbuster last episode, but you weren't here. So, yeah.
Glad you're back, Ted.
Yeah. Mike, these are a couple that I think you would like, and SRS Cinema put them out, so they'll probably be on Tubi if they aren't already. So they released a set of these 3 films called The Visual Bandits by a guy named Tak Miyamoto, who is a effects guy. He works on a lot like Ultraman shows and stuff like that. And then back in the late 80s, he made an 8mm film. So it's the 3 Visual Bandits movies, which are kind of like an Ultra Q or a Kolchak type thing with reporters hunting weird stories. And then there's this 8mm film, Wake Up the Death Treasure, that's about there was a secret program during World War II to create robots to defend Japan. And they were controlled by living computers implanted in people. And so years and years after the war, one gets activated, and the granddaughter of the guy who built them is the one that's got the computer in her brain. I'm used to watching low-budget amateur 8mm films that look like Polonia Brothers shit.
Yeah.
And even this early on in this guy's career, it's hard to believe it's 8mm. And I know saying, because it kind of looks like it was 16mm, might sound like damning with faint praise, but the effects are fantastic, and just the way it's shot is so professional and creative, and it's stuff that you wouldn't think you could do with an 8mm camera, but it looks great. And then I watched the first of the Visual Bandits movie, Tombstone for the Blank, which I think I liked the story of that one and the characters a lot better, but I like the visual aesthetic of Wake Up the Death Treasure. It just looks better. And speaking of tokusatsu, we'll stick with that for a minute. I finally got to see Brush of the God. This is the last movie of Keizo Murase, the legendary Toho suit maker from the Showa era. He built Varan, Mothra, King Ghidorah. He worked, working under Eiji Tsuburaya to build these kaiju suits that people, still love to this day. And so they kickstarted this, or I can't remember if it was Kickstarter or not, but they crowdfunded this movie that he was also going to direct along with doing the special effects for, Brush of the God. And it's kind of a children's fantasy movie. And the effects there's a bunch of stuff that they had to cut from the script for budget reasons, because, they only raised so much. But man, what they did raise, they spent well, because as okay and sometimes not so great as the story and some of the performances are, holy shit, the effects are as good as anything you would see in a 90s Godzilla movie. Like, it looks like Heisei Godzilla type effects. And for a few tens of thousands of dollars or whatever it was they wound up raising for it, they did a hell of a job. And he died last year, so I think I can't remember if he got to see the film released in theaters or not, but he died before the home video release anyway, so that's kind of a bummer. We did catch Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which is awesome and funny and weird, and Sam Rockwell rules, and the movie is anti-AI, so I'm for it. We watched They Will Kill You, which is really fun. It kind of reads like a not quite as good version of Ready or Not for a while, until the final act, and it goes absolutely off the rails. Like, that has to be one of the most unhinged endings in a wide theatrical release movie, like, other than The Substance. In the last few years, I can't think of another movie that's got quite such a wacky ending as They Will Kill You. Right before we recorded, we caught Ready or Not 2, because that finally hit Hulu, and holy shit, that is a blast. I mean, it's everything you loved about the first one, but with even more great character actors and Catherine Newton in a two-hander with Samara Weaving instead of Samara carrying the whole movie herself. And they have great chemistry, and they make a great pair. And I don't know how much more they could stretch the credibility of this story if they made a third one, but I would not be mad about watching a third one. A few movies I picked up from Vinegar Syndrome, KFC. It's a really gross anthology film filled with crime and cannibalism and all manner of depravity, all set around a Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise in Vietnam. And one called Hercules Returns, which we'll get to more Australian stuff later. But this is Bruce Spence, who's the gyrocopter pilot from Road Warrior, and David Argue, who is the one of the crazy redneck brothers in Razorback. And so David Argue plays this. He works at a corporate theater chain, and he hates it. So he decides, I'm going to quit. There's this abandoned theater across the road. I'm going to buy that and get my buddy Sprocket, played by Bruce Spencer, on the camera, and we're going to make a go of it on our own with this little independent theater. So they're going to show the last movie that the theater played before it closed the first time as their grand opening, which is an old Italian Hercules movie. But his shitty old boss calls the distributor and makes sure they get sent a copy that's in Italian, and they're afraid that their big opening night gala is going to be ruined because no one can understand the movie, so they decide instead to dub it themselves live. And that's all set up in about the first 15 minutes, and then the rest of the movie is just like a What's Up Tiger Lily of these guys doing all the voices for this old Hercules movie. And I was kind of worried that it was going to be like really cringy and did not age well type of humor, but there might be one or two of those in there, but for the most part I was not prepared for how funny it was. There were parts that had me laugh like rolling. So Mike, I think you would really like that one too.
Sweet.
And then finally, I guess this might have been a blockbuster, but again, we didn't catch it in the theater. And you're gonna think that I've been replaced by a pod person. The Sheep Detectives
Yeah.
might be the best movie of this year.
That's insane.
It looked like it
can't
was.
wait to see
It's
it.
on our list.
I
I've heard great
expected
things.
it to be cute and silly and fun. I did not expect it to be genuinely good and moving and to make me fucking cry at the end. But it is
Yeah.
so good.
My friend, we went to see something a few weeks ago in the theaters. I don't remember if it was Obsession or Back Groups, but we ran into our friend Sam in the hallway, and she had her kids with her, and she's like, "What are you guys seeing?" And we told her, and I was like, "What do you see?" She's like, "Dude, I fucking saw Sheep Detectives and bawled my eyes out, and my kids were crying." She's like, "I thought it was gonna be a cutesy kids movie."
Sight.
Yeah. Very sweet and heartfelt and just absolutely fantastic. Great performances all around. So that's what I watched.
All right, how about you, Jason?
I finished 3 first seasons of 3 TV shows. I came home from band practice the other day, and it was obvious what was on, but I'd never seen before from 2011, Two Broke Girls.
Oh wow.
I'd never seen an episode. I mean, I knew Kat Denning, because
Eric Andre.
Yeah. Garrett Morris, sure.
Garrett Morris. Yeah.
Jennifer Coolidge, she's one that I don't know.
You're not a big fan?
She's grown on me. But
I think she's-
on this show, but in general, I don't know that.
I think she's
Man, people do
hilarious,
the-
and kudos to her to put herself out there in kind of a ugly persona, if that makes sense. Even though her shtick can be rather one note, because it's kind of almost the same thing every time. But I think she's hilarious at it. Like going back to like her performances in the Christopher Guest movies, and the fact that she can go toe to toe with those guys, those improv guys, I think speaks volumes for her. But I can understand taking a while to
Yep.
get accustomed to her style.
And I noticed right away it was written by Whitney Cummings, who I love her stand-up. She's broken out since then, I'm guessing.
Oh, I didn't know she wrote.
Yeah,
she
she's
wrote
a
the
writer,
show.
creator of the show.
I had no idea. Okay.
Co-writer, co-creator. So that was cool. So yeah, we're through the first season of that. That was great. Then we watched then a couple on Apple TV, Your Friends and Neighbors. That's the one with John Hamm, Olivia Munn, Amanda Peet. It's really good. Just kind of When a financial titan suddenly finds himself divorced and jobless, he starts robbing his wealthy neighbors to stay afloat. Stealing from his own social circle strangely exhilarates him, but he gradually gets tangled in a deadly web. It's John Hamm, being the handsome, suave guy that you love. And it took me a while to get into it because it's like, why do I care about super rich guy? I can't relate to this guy, but it's also done really well. I don't know. It's Apple TV. Everything's good there. Got through that first season, and then Widow's Bay also.
Keep hearing about it.
Yeah, it's great. A New England mayor tries to boost tourism on his island. His island must navigate strange events, suggesting it may be cursed. Yeah, a lady creator of the show. It's Stephen Root's in it. It's awesome. Each episode is kind of like explains a curse of this island, but while telling this overall narrative of this guy trying to figure out what the hell's going on with his island. He's like trying to hope that it's not cursed because he's the mayor and he's standing up for it. But yeah, like Bill said before too, it's definitely got some Stephen King-y vibes to it all the way, and it's really great. So yeah, definitely recommend that on Apple TV. And then we did make it to the theater for one blockbuster, Supergirl.
Damn it, I haven't gone yet.
What? I thought you were a fan of comic books.
You know what?
Yeah, so I do know, and I do know that Supergirl is awesome. I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was great. Lobo's in it.
That's what I want to know. I mean, I know he's in it, but I want to hear.
I think he's great.
I know you
Didn't
don't have
sound
a
convincing.
I know you don't have a ton of context for the character, but
Right. Yeah, that's just it. Like, he's cool and awesome and looks... from
He
the
looks
day
like
we
off the
all
page.
saw Jason Momoa for the first time, we're all like, oh, that guy could play Lobo easy.
well, see, and then I saw like some comparison shots, like when they did Lobo in the Krypton series, the Sci-Fi Channel series, or the Sci-Fi Channel series. That I thought back then, like, this guy, he looks like Lobo, and then seeing the screenshots between him and Jason Momoa, and I'm like, okay, that guy is the made-for-TV freaking 80s version of Lobo.
Yeah.
This Jason Momoa was born to play this role.
Yeah,
Physically.
he was great. No, well, did they give him enough in the movie? You know, how much development can you get? He was badass. Motorcycles are cool. Don't smoke cigars. Yeah, no, it was good. He was good.
What you're him humming about, as I'm assuming, is just like they just don't develop him really.
Right, pretty much.
Okay.
He's just this badass guy that, they come across and, is definitely not helping Supergirl in any way until he does, and shows that maybe there's a good guy in there somewhere where he's not. He's a badass. Hey,
Yeah.
he's a badass.
He's a bounty hunter.
Oh yeah, he's the baddest ass of them all. But then he still kind of helps
He's the
her.
number
so
one
he's-
bastage.
Yeah, so it was good, but it's also not a super gigantic part of it either. So, but yeah, I love the new Superman world. I love all of them, honestly. But yeah, she's great. Crypto, just having I loved it. I didn't even realize until afterwards that that Millie Alcock was the girl from the House of Dragons. I didn't even realize that, which I love, but it's like, oh, she grew up. That's weird. But that's what I watched, Supergirl.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I know that's been sort of controversial. Like, critics are really shitting on it, and fans are like, "What are you talking about? It's awesome." And
No, it completely feels different
Then Superman.
than
Most
comic book movies. And yeah,
And that's not a bad thing, though.
no, I don't think so. I appreciate its difference. It just is obvious. Yeah, and so it makes sense that people are shitting on it, maybe, but
It could be a little jarring because we got in the style and the tone of Superman, the introduction of Supergirl, but
It is
but
not.
at the same time, it's like it's like
It's
the
its
Captain
own-
America movies. Like each one of those is like a
Exactly.
direct style of a different genre. So DC could easily do that too, have different styles for their movies still contained within the same universe, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, this one's the moody teenage girl, version of
I can
Superman.
relate.
It's great. I know you can. Anyway, that's what I watched.
Well, I mean, and I won't harp on it too long, but it's like people complain. I haven't seen the movie. I have no fighter in this game, but I just feel like people are like superhero fatigue. They're all the same, blah blah blah, and so there's one that's a little different, and then they complain that it's different. It's like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
do you want?
People are gonna complain to complain, right?
Right. Anyways, Mike, what have you watched?
Stuff.
Oh,
I'll start off with I'll start off with a show that I just started watching, and I try not to talk about shows until I've watched the whole thing, or at least whatever current season's going on. But dude, I mean, I feel like maybe this might have been something Tad has brought up before, and I've forgotten it. So, because it's been a while, but the show is from like 2021 to 2022. It's called Kevin Can Fuck Himself.
okay.
Anybody?
No.
Yeah, so you have seen it, Tad, right?
Yeah.
It seems like it would be a show that you would watch. And I got hooked on it simply because I saw a YouTube review of it, and I'm like, oh, this concept sounds amazing. So it's about, it starts off like a TV sitcom where, beautiful wife, dorky husband, the dorky husband's your friends and family are also cast members. Like he's got a best friend, his dad's there, and his best friend's sister all hang out together. And he's got wacky shenanigans. He's like one of those like sitcoms where the guy obviously in real life wouldn't be married to such a beautiful woman, right? Like, and then the woman's the only one, the level-headed one, like a Kevin James sitcom or The Simpsons
King of
or anything
Queens,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah. However, when he goes through his wacky shenanigans, which a lot of times is at the cost of the wife, and she exits the room, then all of a sudden the laugh track is gone. The multi-camera sitcom style shooting is gone. It gets darker. You can see all four walls of the room and like a normal sitcom stage. And the whole series is this traumatized woman who's dealing with this mentally abusive husband. And the whole plot of the show is her trying to find a way to get out of this marriage, and the only thing she can come up with is to kill her husband. And the rabbit hole she falls down in to try to accomplish this task. I think the show is great. It's still, even in the dark moments, it's still funny. It's definitely more of a dark comedy. But just that switch and that idea of like, what's going on behind the door of these sitcom shows. It's just, I think it's so unique and amazing. I love it. What'd you think of it, Tad? Is this something you've brought up before on the show?
I don't know if I've brought it up. It's been
a long time. Yeah.
but it's very unique and has sort of its. I love the big switch of and it's not for everyone, I don't think, but I think Jason would dig it.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's fun. Where's the streaming now?
Oh crap! I should have wrote it down because I don't remember. Maybe Roku channel, maybe.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. I also watched for the very first time in my entire life the 1995 classic Showgirls.
Well,
First time?
First time. I've avoided it for years, and as the movie has seemed to have grown on people, and me being a fan of Paul Verhoeven, I'm like, I got to give it a shot. It totally sounds like I would be one of those guys that would have appreciated it at the time for its complete and utter over-the-top satiricalness.
and
I still don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. It did not sit well with me. I'm all for subversiveness and being so satirical that your movie comes off as bad and laughable.
But it is. Like, I don't think anyone argues that movie is good, do they? It's fucking terrible. That's why it's fun.
Well, it seems like everybody has become on the side of Paul Verhoeven
Oh,
because
really?
because
Is it?
because take like RoboCop and Starship Troopers. There's underlying tones that he's doing in those things where he's presenting you the thing that you want, but at the same time is poking fun at the thing you want. And Showgirls is everybody's saying it's like the extreme version of that, but Jesus Christ, man, come on.
I've
At least
always
make your
wanted to get a
characters
hold
likable.
of. Yeah. I've always wanted to get a hold of a physical copy because there's a commentary track with actual Las Vegas showgirls that I would love to hear.
Oh man, I would assume they'd be pissed because this does not paint anybody in that world in a very good light.
There's I would recommend sometime just for funsies, and it might be on one of the Blu-rays or DVDs. There's like the TV cut where they make and
Wow.
Painted all the black bras
Yes.
over everybody.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, and
I've seen some of that. It looks awful.
Fits into the
It's-
bonus episode coming
yeah,
up.
hilarious, and also they lean into like having to edit the swear words, so they just go like really bad with them instead of even trying to be close. And yeah, it's like a whole different watch, and it's hilarious because you cannot cut some of the nude scenes out or you'll miss story because they're
Yeah.
naked half the
They're
movie.
just
So
walking around naked,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, like, that movie has a special place in my heart because it came out. I mean, I was a Saved by the Bell child. Like, I still love the show.
Yeah,
We'll defend
it has
to
a
the death.
special place in your heart, sure.
Yes, well, I'm saying, when I watched it originally when I was much younger, I liked it for different reasons. I could watch it on mute, and I enjoyed it. Now, when you watch it, and after watching, I watched Twin Peaks.
On mute 'cause
I watched Twin Peaks after, and then I'm like, oh, Kyle MacLachlan, like he's so weird in this. The movie's just weird. It's like, what is this? It's like, I mean, it's like a high budget The Room. It's like, what the fuck are they? This
it kinda
dialogue,
sadly really is.
yeah, it's like this dialogue. None of this makes sense. Like, what were they thinking? And
And that's just it. Paul Verhoeven has proven he knows what he's doing.
right.
So, like, what the fuck happened? And
And a great,
you being
like,
a Saved by the
Kyle
Bell,
MacLachlan, he's awesome. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and it's badness.
I forget her name, Elizabeth.
It was Berkeley and
Berkeley.
Gina Gershon.
Being a big Saved by the Bell fan, after you watch that, you weren't depressed that like, oh, she fucked up her career. I hated her so much in this movie. I felt like I was watching a
At that
5-year-old
age, you
having a
don't
temper
care
tantrum.
about her performance.
At that age, I was like, she just made the best career choice of her life.
Well, yeah, but I felt like I was watching a 5-year-old having a temper tantrum for an hour and a half.
But
Like
again,
she goes from 0 to 1,000 in like a split second. Like she's all happy 1 second, and somebody puts onions on her burger, and then she just fucking flies off the handle.
do you think she had a bright career and this movie ruined it? I don't.
Think it was
You know.
doomed from the start?
Not even doomed. It's just no offense to her. It's not like she was, she took a risk. At the time, she probably thought, I'm coming off of this beloved sitcom that's not known for its performances. Sort of loved ironically. I'm taking a big risk and going from child star to doing this all nude thing. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And it didn't. But, it's not like you see Tiffany Amber Thiessen on TV every week. It's not like Paul Mark Gosselaar and Mario Lopez both came out okay, but even Mario Lopez, it's like his long-standing gig is like extra or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah. No.
she's still working. So I mean,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not. I don't know. I just don't think it was like something. And she's very cool with it now. Like when they did that Saved by the Bell reboot, they make lots of jokes, like little wink jokes about Showgirls. Like she's completely okay with that choice and does not regret it and leans into it. So
At the same time, though, none of those guys had such a big shot as that. you're talking like a major Hollywood film with a respected director, you know.
Yeah.
And you could say her performance is bad, but I think this is the ultimate example of I've been saying for years of this performance is 100% a choice, and I feel like it's Paul's choice that she did what she did in this movie. Because everybody's almost doing the same thing throughout this whole movie. And so, you know, you put your faith in your director, and I feel like Paul let everybody down in this. But it's I either need to watch it again or still sit with it longer. I haven't decided.
I'm not exaggerating. When I say I watch this at least once a year. And I don't plan it. I don't think I even own a physical copy, even if was it Vinegar Syndrome put out a 4K?
Yeah, they put out a really fancy pants box set of it.
It's like somehow I always find it on a streaming service in the middle of the night, and it's already it's like either on like Pluto TV, it's halfway, you know, and back when I was like in college, it was always on like Showtime or something. It's one of those things, it's just like it's always playing somewhere somehow. And you know, it's Jesse Spano naked, like just say the quiet part out loud. Come on.
Yeah. Okay, so I also watched Together from 2025.
It's the one with your girl, Alison Brie.
With my girl, yeah. It's like, well, I'm already watching one Alison Brie movie. I better watch two, right?
Brie and Franco.
Yeah, I could do without the Franco, but whatever. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a lot of fun. I would have enjoyed maybe a little bit more world building. Kind of feel like we're doing this to do this and not establishing anything.
Yeah,
And-
you don't like when the reveal happens. You don't feel like it means anything. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
and
exactly. The thing that got me though is I've heard from so many people that how the third act jumps to comedy and it's so jarring and everything. But I thought the blend of horror and comedy was consistent from the opening scene. I mean, yes, there's some darker, scarier moments like that dream sequence with the parents in the bed. I thought that was like a really cool scare moment. But I'm like laughing through the whole thing. I guess I didn't see.
I just like the movie in general. I know a lot
Yeah.
of people really hated the ending. Jason, have you seen it?
Yeah, but it's been forever.
I'm
mean,
one
it
of those
hasn't been that
people
long.
who hated the third act.
Yeah, I'm cool with it all the way through. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed it for what it was. So
Okay, cool. Last thing I'll bring up, I watched a movie from 1985. Troma released it back in the day. A movie called Story of a Junkie. This is a movie.
the G.G. Allen story.
No, that's hated. The G.G. Allen story. No, it's documentary style. I still think it's mostly fiction, but it really blurs the boundary between reality and fiction, and it definitely feels like one of those like documentaries where the day in the life of somebody who's gone down a dark path. This is like a big drug addict guy who's like just his whole life is just living for the next fix, living in this slummy New York apartment. It's very bleak. It shows scummy New York, which, you know, from the 80s scummy New York, I just love seeing in film. And even just there's a lot of talking. It also kind of reminds me a little bit of, say, like Slackers in a sense, just in the fact it's like really talky, but just with some of the most bizarre stories being telegraphed to you, and some of those stories paint such a dark and gross picture that I feel like it surpasses the sickest scene out of any Troma release of visually. So it's a bizarre film, and I don't know, I dug it. Tad, what did you watch?
Well, about a million short films over and over and over again. But outside of that, I've actually been watching a little bit. I don't know if I mentioned this on here. I might have. I wasn't on the last episode. I was at a work thing. I was actually on assignment, but I've been every year right around this time leading up to the film festival. I have a lot of busy work, so I do a lot of like what do they call it? Double tasks. Like I am multitasking. That's the word. Jesus Christ, Ted. And I always pick like a TV show to sort of binge while I do stuff badges and put the trophies together and do all that fun, mindless things. And this year it's been Hacks on HBO. Has
That
anyone
show is
watched
so
it?
good. I'm so sad it's over.
I'm on the final season. I just started it like 2 weeks ago, and I'm already on season 4. And it's so got me. Like I watched the first episode, and then I'm like staying up till midnight, and it's like
Yep.
it's affecting my life. I'm like, Jesus, Tad, go to sleep. But one more episode, and I downloaded episodes onto my phone to like watch on the plane, and I'm like, I can't get enough of this. I paid extra for Amazon Prime to not get commercials so I could finish The Boys. I haven't watched an episode in 3 weeks because I'm watching Hacks every chance I get. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
I think
I'm
we
sad
started
I'm
it
almost
when-
there.
We started when there was like 3 seasons out, and we plowed through them so fast.
You
and
caught
then
up to
watched
it?
4 and 5 as like every day. You know, when it was Thursdays, I think the new ones came out, so we'd always watch
Yeah.
them on the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm on the final season. I don't remember if it's 4 or 5. Must be 5. But
5 is the last season. Yeah.
I could tell I was getting close to like the end because there was like an episode. It was like just dedicated to the California wildfires. I'm like, oh, that was just last year, so I know I'm getting close, and that was last season, so I must be on the final season. But I love it. It's fantastic. It's fun. Anytime I feel like it's going in a direction I don't want it to, it takes a quick turn and gets right back on track to where it has a twist, something unexpected. But it's so easy to just sit through. And Nikki hasn't been watching it with me, but like it's on the background when like she'll be doing something or on her phone or whatever. And like she's like laughing at the jokes, even though she doesn't really even know like what's happening in the story. It's just
Yeah, it's
simply
such a
so
smart
well written.
show. Yeah.
Yes.
So funny.
Yeah,
Gene
really,
Smart
really well.
rules. Hannah Einbinder is really, her stand up is really good too.
Yeah. So I highly recommend that. It's on HBO Max streaming, and now that it's over, you can watch all of them. For movies, I've been in the theater twice at least since the last time I talked to you guys. But I saw something at home, and it's on Netflix. It's called Little Brother. It has John Cena and Eric Andre. It is dumb. It's a bad movie, but
But
in the best way. In the best way. Like, it's like I know McDonald's isn't good, but sometimes I just want to fucking eat McDonald's and not a steak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This movie is basically What About Bob or Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, where John Cena plays the straight guy and Eric Andre is the fumbling idiot that fucks everything up for Cena. And then, you know, later Cena realizes he's been an uptight asshole and needs to relax. And, you know, Eric Andre's character, and the premise is this. John Cena plays this big real estate agent. He finally gets a big break. He's going to be on some shitty reality show about selling celebrity houses. He has an older brother who's like a multimillionaire, and he's like, you should sell my house on the show, whatever. Well, he gets a phone call, and this is like the first 5 minutes. It's all in the trailer. He gets a phone call. Hey, your brother's been in a bad car accident. You need to show up to the hospital. He shows up. Eric Andre's in the hospital. He's like, you're not my brother. Who the fuck are you? He's like, you remember in high school we did, or like middle school, we did Big Brothers, Big Sisters. You were my big brother. And for this whole time, Eric Andre has gone from like foster home to foster home, but he's never forgotten John Cena's character as like the one positive influence in his life. So he's been obsessed with him his whole life and tries to drive across. He escapes a mental institution, drives across the country to try to find him, gets in a car accident. And, you know, John Cena's like the emergency contact in his phone. So, of course, he has to bring him in right as he's filming this new show, and hilarity ensues. If you like dumb, gross out, like humor, what's his name that plays Stabler in SVU, and he's in Wet Hot American Summer?
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Maloney.
Yeah, there
Yes,
you
he's in it, and he plays Cena's actual older brother, and he's fantastic because he is so underrated as a comedic
go.
actor.
Yes. Yeah.
and he's so great in this. Cena's actually, I think Cena's a really, really good comedic actor. He's underrated.
Yep.
Eric Andre basically plays himself. I mean, there's a scene where he pisses in his own mouth. It's
Oh, we've all been there. Don't
yeah,
pretend.
but it's one of those like it reminded me of an old Adam Sandler movie like Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore, because like the scenes that are the funniest are like these side characters that you see once or twice in a movie that have one line. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but it just reminded me of that, where I'm like, I'm literally turning off my brain and watching this bad movie, and I'm okay with it. I'm laughing, so that's all that matters, right? And it's like 90 minutes. Cena and Eric Andre have great chemistry together, so fuck it. I recommend it. And then
It's
I
a
went
dumb
to
generic movie with better performances than it deserves to
yes,
have.
yes, yeah. The script I've seen a million times. It's a straight guy and the idiot. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing new. There's literally gags ripped from other movies like this. There's like 4 or 5 gags that I'm like, that is straight from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. But that's okay. But the next thing I saw was not any smarter, but maybe even better, was Jackass Best and Last.
Oh, nice.
I am a no shame in my game, not a closet fan. I love the Jackass movies. I love Jackass show. I love everybody
too.
in the crew.
Fuck yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say it. In the new movie, I had low expectations because I assumed it was a clip show to get out of their contract with Paramount because they owed them so many movies. And it might be that, but you know what? Like, putting together some of the best ones, unseen stuff, and a few new things, like, I was fine with it as a way to go out, and it's a lot of fun. If they re-release all of them in theaters, I would go see them all over again. Like,
Yeah.
There's not a time my face hurts more than when I go see a Jackass movie. So good.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I don't even know. I shouldn't even. It's weird to be like spoilers in a Jackass movie, right?
But what did it was blown up on whose balls?
Well, they open it with one of the most infamous things that they've talked about forever, and I think I've seen this online, but it's never been in a movie or show. But it's a thing that started technically Jackass for Johnny Knoxville, where he got like assigned this article from like a magazine where he was going to test self-defense mechanisms. And he shoots himself in the chest with a 9mm, but he's wearing a bulletproof vest. So they drive out into the middle of the desert.
Oh my
and it's
God.
so fucking tense because nobody knows. I mean, there's no Jackass at this point. He's just, he needs money. And this magazine, like some stupid fucking skateboard magazine, gave him like $100 to write this article. And his friend's holding a camcorder, and he's supposed to shoot Knoxville, and he could not bring himself to do it. So Knoxville takes it himself and just turns it right into his own chest, point blank, and shoots himself in the chest. And it's, he's going to live because it's like, 30 years ago. Yeah. But I was sweating bullets in the theater, like,
Wow.
what? Like, holy fuck, because this thing is like lo-fi, and they're out in the desert, and they're terrified that someone's going to come, and they do it, and they run into a car and speed off. But seeing that, and then like seeing them now, and seeing, like I said, they have some greatest hits in there, but most of them, like, they have commentary, or like they'll do a scene and cut to like talking heads of them talking about how that came to be, or why it's so funny, or what people thought of it, or the reactions, that kind of thing. There's one really, 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 really gross scene called the human pretzel. I could have lived without, but
There's always one of those.
yeah. Well, Steve-O talks in the movie, and he's like, every movie, like, it's either Dave England or
Yeah.
Danger Aaron that take the VIP for the movie, and he's like, I've always wanted to be the VIP, so he tries really hard in this scene. And again, it's not really a spoiler, but the premise is, what's the stuff that people drink before a colonoscopy to clean out their system?
Oh, yeah. That
That's-
stuff's gross.
They all sit at a bar and chug a whole bottle, and then
Oh,
they're
God.
wearing clear rain suits, and they have to play Twister.
Oh my God.
And as you can imagine, it's projectiles shitting on each other. And Steve-O takes the cake by
Oh,
filling
don't
his
say
No.
take the cake. Don't.
Nothing.
but it's
to
pretty
eat
fun. It's pretty fun. It felt like the new cast is still very not needed and unnecessary, but
Kind of like in the last one, yeah.
yeah, but they even less so. But they do take
Oh.
some good hits and spills, but it's fine. And then the very last thing, I'll pivot. I saw this like 2 hours, I guess 4 hours ago, because the movie's 3 hours long. I saw Disclosure Day in theaters because you got to see a Spielberg movie in theaters.
Going tomorrow.
Is that what blockbuster did I miss that you saw last time, Brian?
Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I actually listened to the beginning of the episode, but anyways,
Got bored and turned it off.
Disclosure Day. I will need to see it again at home. I liked it, didn't love it, but I think it had more to do with the theater experience.
God
I
damn
thought
it.
I left work at noon. I have a half day. I leave work. I'm excited. I'm like, matinee on a Thursday. No one's going to be there. The movie's been out for a month. It's about to leave this week. I go. I take the one. It's reserve seating. I get the one seat in the very back row. Two old
foolproof.
ladies. Two old ladies come in. They sit at the end of the row. That's fine.
Okay.
Same row as me, but all the way at the end. Movie starts. Two other old ladies come in using a flashlight on their phone. They can't find where they're sitting. Then they come up to my row and they come right up to me and they're putting the flashlight in my face. I think we have seats 5 and 6. I'm like, well, you shouldn't because I have seat 6. Well, how do you know? Because it says seat 6 on my fucking ticket, you old bitch. And then she's like, well, how do you know what seat's what? And I'm like, the big number on the arm, that's your fucking number of your seat. Now, oh my God. And then they sit down and they start talking. And so I get up and move and she goes, I think he's mad at us.
Fucking right.
And then they start talking through the whole movie, so I just get up and go tell a manager. I'm like, they will not shut the fuck up, and their phones are beeping and ringing.
And these are old ladies?
God damn it.
Yes, like probably in their 70s, 60s, 70s. And they played the
babysat
new.
for Spielberg. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, David Robert Mitchell has that new movie coming out. Have you guys seen the trailer?
No.
It has Anne Hathaway and
Oh yeah, the end of Oak
Yeah.
Street.
yes. And so that trailer's playing, and one of the ladies goes, she looks so young. And then they played The Odyssey, which does not have Anne Hathaway in it. And she goes, that's the same actress. And the other lady goes, are you sure? Yeah, that's her. She looks so much older. I'm like, fucking kill me. Oh my God. How did this happen at noon on a Thursday? Anyways, Disclosure Day.
They just had dinner
Yeah.
Right.
before bedtime.
I do love that, like, every, 20 years we get a new Spielberg take on aliens.
Yeah.
That's sort of cool that we, like,
Super 8 was so good.
my coworker saw Disclosure Day, and she's, like, 26, and, I'm like, oh, did you like it? She's like, I loved it. I'm like, have you seen, like, E.T.? She's like, of course I've seen E.T. I'm like, have you seen, Close Encounters of the Third Kind? She's like, no. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, go watch that. Have you seen War of the Worlds? She's like, no. And I'm like, don't watch that. I'm like, have you seen AI? She's like, no. And I'm like, maybe you should see that. It's sort of cool. But she like went down the rabbit hole of aliens, and I'm like, you should go down the rabbit hole of Spielberg instead. Like, I was like, now's the right time. Watch Jaws 4th of July. She's like, I've seen Jaws. I'm like, have you seen Jaws though? I was like, sit down and watch Jaws. Don't like say you've seen Jaws.
Right?
Yeah.
Tell them.
But it was fun. It was a cool, unique thing. It just, I don't know. It feels like Spielberg sort of aging out. It makes me sad, but it's still magic on screen. But it just didn't feel as magical as some of his other stuff. So that's what I watched.
Cool. All right. So it's time for our vacation, guys. What is the first film we're going to be talking about on this episode, Dad?
Unfortunately, it's Eden Lake.
Oh,
So Kat's boyfriend is taking her to Paris for the weekend, and my boyfriend's taking me to a disused quarry.
At your first opportunity, turn around. It's beautiful. Where do
we just find another spot?
I'm not going to be bullied away by a bunch of 12-year-olds. Hey, guys, can you turn your sounds down, please?
Here, mate.
And what you looking at? Are you looking at my tits? Fucking jog on.
Steve, where's the beach bag?
It's got the car keys in it. I just want my car back. Car keys, phone, wallet. You've had your fun.
First loan he sees 999. Now we've got to finish this.
Run! Listen to me. Go get him. Go! I'm fucking bleeding to death.
I've got to get us out of here. You hold on.
Wouldn't happen to have seen a bunch of kids tooling around on BMXs.
Terrence.
Well, Eden Lake follows a young couple who escape to a secluded lakeside for a relaxing weekend getaway. Their peaceful trip takes a terrifying turn as they encounter a group of increasingly aggressive local teenagers. As tensions escalate, the couple find themselves trapped in desperate fight for survival. This one's pretty nasty and mean. It looks like it was shot on a potato. At least my transfer looked like shit.
Where did you watch it?
I watched it on like Hoopla or.
Oh yeah, streaming stuff from Hoopla to your TV, it always looks like ass for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. It made me think
but if
of
you
like.
just watched it on like the Roku channel, it looks fine. So.
But I didn't want to watch commercials. But it sort of, to me, it looked like it was shot on like red. It reminded me of that like 28 Days Later look, like very digital. But we have a pretty decent cast for something I've never heard of.
Right.
The obvious is Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay.
Yeah.
He's sort of the main lead, and was this like before he was, I assume, pretty big, if he's doing weird little horror movie like this?
Yeah, probably would have been right before, because he did that movie Blood Creek with Joel Schumacher around the same time, too, where he plays like a resurrected Nazi.
Yeah, because this was, what,
I take
2008?
this silence that nobody has seen Blood Creek.
No.
It's pretty good.
But he did like 1 year later was in Inglourious Basterds, so, you know, all uphill from this. But even though I said unfortunately when I mentioned it, just because it was just sort of mean and nasty, I didn't hate it by any means. I was entertained, and it is pretty tense, I would say. It left me sort of feeling empty, though. Like, it's like, goddamn. I mean, it has a tension that builds up, and then there's one particular moment, spoiler, where he accidentally kills the dog. And, Jesus, how many dogs were abused in this episode? But
Too many.
All of them.
Yeah, but, you know, even the worst dog, like when it's not the dog's fault, it's the owner's fault, but you sort of like, that's the turning point in this movie. When the dog dies, shit gets real. These kids were just being pests at first. Well, they did steal a car, so that's pretty serious. But
I think they were always going to push it to this point. The dog, like, I don't think they meant for the dog to die, but they were never going to let this stop.
I mean, the dog died
always...
because one of the kids pulled a knife on the guy. So, yeah, it was escalating long before the dog, yeah.
But it's mean, and it's gritty and harrowing. I think Michael Fassbender sort of stands out as a great performance in this compared to everyone else. But I cared about him and his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So that says something. They built the characters up enough that I gave a shit, but it's not anything I haven't seen before, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. Sometimes now I'm like watching him and I'm like, oh, poor Jason's going to have to watch this and it's going to be rough. What'd you guys think? This is the first time watch for me, but I swear I've heard the title a million times.
Yeah, it's been around for like, pops up on, hard to watch modern movies and
Okay.
stuff like that, lists every once in a while. I've seen this before, and it had been so long since I'd seen this that I had no idea who the fuck Jack O'Connell was the first time I watched it. And so when his name popped up in the credits, I'm like, wait, that guy? But I'm like, well, yeah, this was made in the UK, so, and then sure enough, there he was, like, embryonic lead vampire from Sinners as the head hooligan here.
That's funny.
Yeah, but
Didn't put two and two together.
20 years later.
I like this movie a lot. The only things that really detract from it for me are that it doesn't do much new with it's just another one of these things, kind of. And then the thing that, she would have gotten away and things might have turned out all right, except for her phone doing a thing that, granted, I don't know that much about technology, but I don't think phones actually do this. So after things have escalated, the dog has been killed. The hooligans have kidnapped her husband and tied him up with barbed wire and are going to start stabbing him. And she sees them, but they don't know she's there yet. And so she tries to call 911 or 999 because, it's the UK. But
British.
Yeah. But instead of, because they are in close proximity, their phones link through Bluetooth. Which, that's fine. But why the fuck would that then route her calling 911 to make his phone that is just one of those things wow, you really could not think of she could have stepped on a stick. That would have been fine, but you had to go out of your way to come up with this convoluted bullshit excuse that is not how this thing works.
Or maybe ever works.
It's just frustrating.
I thought it was just cell phone service in the UK. That's all I...
Yeah, that seems like the if that's how phones, at least at that time, actually did somehow work, that exposes why it should not be like that, because that's a terrible idea.
And I don't think
it's an emergency.
There's no way. That makes no sense at all. Yeah, it's an emergency line.
Transfer it to a different phone. Why?
Yeah, that's really dumb. But yeah, the performances are great. Kelly Riley is wow. I wish they would have played a little more into the class warfare, because there are hints of that, but they definitely don't belabor the point. But where they're going is this new development that is clearly encroaching on this kind of lower income area, and the locals are feeling pissed because their area is being gentrified. But that is all kind of thrown out for that last shot after she's been dragged into the bathroom by the head hooligan's dad, who is clearly going to off her to protect his kid. And he goes into his bedroom and looks in the mirror, and there's a beat, and you think he's going to break down or have some kind of really strong reaction, realizing what he's done, and oh shit, this is real and I just got this woman killed. But right at that moment where you think he's going to crack, instead his face loses all emotion, and he puts his sunglasses on and does this kind of
it's not his sunglasses pose. That was his sunglasses.
Right, the husband's sunglasses, and does this kind of quick draw, cool guy, Steve McQueen pose in the mirror. And at that point I realized, no, the whole the victims, they matter in that they're characters that you care for, like you said, Tad. They they're well enough rounded characters that you care about them, but their plight isn't that particularly important. The really important thing is Jack O'Connell's character. What we're witnessing here is the birth of a serial killer, or at least some kind of psychopath. This is his origin story of
just
the
looking
villain.
for a reason to go after these people.
Yeah, and now that his dad has abdicated him of the responsibility for everything else he's done, it's implanted this idea in his head that I can just get away with this shit. It's go time. He is, whatever terror he wrought on this community before is going to be 10,000 times worse now.
Fuck those kids.
Yeah, maybe, but that's not what the movie's about. That's just what happens in the movie, you know.
What, fucking kids?
No, him being a serial killer. Like, yeah, that's the result of what happens, but...
Yeah, like I said, there are some of those class warfare themes, but they kind of glaze over that.
Yeah.
In favor of just more and more tension. Also, why was there a giant dumpster full of poop out in the middle of the woods?
I don't know. Why is there always porn out in the middle of the woods?
You found that too?
That's where
I feel like it's easier to haul some porn mags out into the woods than it is a dumpster of poop. But
Yeah, why'd you have to get all the way in the poop?
to hide. If they looked in the poop dumpster and saw her just huddling in it, they would have killed her. But
yeah, who said that she was fun to look at? She was really fun to look at until she climbed into the dumpster of poop. Then I'm like, okay, I'm out.
But I've heard people say, you know, if someone like attacks you, like get weird, you know, get naked and start screaming at them.
Pee
Attack.
yourself, yeah.
Right, yeah. So, you know, good defense mechanism. No one wants to beat up someone covered in shit.
Yeah, yeah. When that kid was throwing away her little note, he didn't see her because he couldn't get close enough to. You know, he threw it in there, but obviously wasn't getting close enough to see actually inside of it. Mm-hmm. That's how, like, yeah. This movie, it does a great job of building tension. I was on the edge of my seat through the whole thing. You're talking about that final shot, man. That ending pisses me off more than anything else, and all the things that piss me off. That smug little fucker.
Yeah, that means everyone did a good job because that was supposed to piss you off.
Oh, I know. I'm not disagreeing with you that this movie was very well made because it did the job it set out to do. I just wanted to reach through the fucking TV and punch that kid right between the glasses, like so bad, so bad. The whole time you're on the edge of your seat, waiting for the script to flip, waiting for her to get the upper hand, and she has a couple of moments where like the upper hand is there, but it's not enough because it's still not him. The one that's pulling the strings of all, and I hate all the kids, because even the ones that were, like, you know, feeling sorry for her, like, I don't care.
The girl pissed me off so much.
Yeah, fuck all of them, you know. And so this movie, that smug little fucker, wipe that shit fucking grin off his face, man.
What's always weird to me is watching this and seeing all the torture in, like, you know, tied up with barbed wire and cutting and stabbing. And for some reason, the most tense scene for me is when he goes looking for these kids and he goes in the house, Michael Fassbender's character, and the dad comes home and he has to like go up top and climb and he's like slipping down the roof. Like,
oh yeah,
I would rather have him be stabbed than get caught for some reason. Like, why does that bother me so much watching it? I'm on the edge of my seat for that scene, and then the rest of it I'm okay with. But for some reason, like getting caught, I'm like, what if he gets arrested?
That dad was clearly a bad guy.
Yeah, but still, like, I'm like, he was, to me, I was like, he was in the right when he found these kids' bikes. Like, you know, we've all been in awkward situations where, like, there's someone who's heated or, like, trying to start shit and you're trying to de-escalate it. I'm like the least confrontational human alive, so watching this makes me anxious.
But by his third step in the house, I'm like,
right.
what are you doing?
Like, like, you don't walk into someone's house, bro. Like, no matter,
going, you're like,
yeah, I'm like, there, and you just know it's coming. It's like there's no good ending, you know. And he actually did get away in that situation, but you know, obviously, things escalated from there. But yeah, watching that, I'm like, and then questioning myself, I'm like, why am I so freaking out over him breaking in the house, but not so much when they're slowly torturing him. And I love the classic scene where they're like under the like dock or shed or whatever, you know, and they're hiding. And it's right after he starts bleeding out. And you think they have a million of these scenes in this movie where they're right there on the corner and the kids turn around and they're gone. You know, they do that fake out, like they're going to get caught. They're going to get caught. Boom. And suddenly they're underneath and she's covering his mouth so they can't hear the breathing. And I'm always like, how do you not? He's right. They're right under your feet. How do you not hear them? But it's a movie.
Yeah. I like, if you guys haven't figured it out by now, sometimes I'm watching a movie and I'll latch on to the dumbest things. So when she steps on that thing and it goes all the way through her foot, and then after she climbs into the dumpster of poo,
Oh yeah.
all I can think from that moment on is that she's going to lose that foot.
That foot is gone.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's so much infection going on, and even
Turns out
Sepsis.
she didn't
She's-
need to worry about it.
and even when we saw his big gaping wound on his side when they're in the little shed thing, and then they get into the water, all I can think is,
Yep.
all the little creatures that are crawling into
Yep.
that wound right now. Yep.
I made
Yep.
when we were watching it, I said the same thing to Terry. He's like, yeah, let's make sure this gets nice and infected.
What elevates this even more for me on how much I freaking hate the ending, how angry it made me, is that this is I watched this one last, because obviously I'm going to watch the one with Alison Brie first, and then like the other one that we watched is a movie I had never seen, and was one of the reasons why I came up with the topic in the first place, because I always wanted to watch it. So this one was the last pick, and this one has the most likable couples out of all three films. Like, I was cheering for these guys through the whole thing, and everything about them was just so pure, and like it was really digging the little lovey-dovey moments and stuff. And it's just like, aw. So when this stuff happens, it just made it even worse. And I think part of it too, for me, is because I watched this one third, when I cared more about these two than probably all the other characters in the other two films combined. I was definitely way more invested in them, and just wanted that revenge moment for them so bad. So bad. But fuck it. Fuck this.
Yeah, first time watch for me. Yeah, but I try to watch them in order that we do them. Just maybe it'll help my memory, I guess.
Sure.
But what a way to start.
That could only be a good thing in this situation, right? Like the others got better.
I was already at a point.
Okay, it's too late.
Let me just read whatever.
That's fine. That's fine.
Eden Lake is a movie I hated watching, but not because it's badly made. If anything, the problem is that it's way too effective. Kelly Riley is genuinely excellent. I mean, she is the best part. She was awesome, and I like Michael Fassbender a lot too, but he helps sell the doomed romantic getaway setup, and Jack O'Connell is terrifying in a very grounded, horrible way. The tension escalates well, the title is brutally ironic, and the movie absolutely fits our vacation horror themed, because it turns a peaceful weekend by the water into a kind of trip that makes you want to book a staycation forever. That said, this is not my kind of horror. It is bleak, cruel, and by the end I felt less entertained than emotionally mugged in the woods. Not for me. 0 stars. Is that a
Joe Bob says, "Don't check it out."
Joe Bob says, delete.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I can say it was a very well made movie. Obviously, did its job. Was very effective. I can't say it's a bad movie because of those things, but I feel a little more on Jason's side with this one, that it's not going to be one I ever watch again, unless I really just want to get pissed off.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It has.
There
for
are
me,
better versions of this story to watch.
Zero,
for sure.
Zero rewatchability for me.
0.
Sure. But again, it doesn't make it like a bad movie,
Right.
Just not something I want to watch.
Jeff, I knew
I'd
this
seen it before.
beforehand. Never would.
Sorry, go ahead.
If I knew this
Signed up.
beforehand, I wouldn't have picked
Never
it.
would have signed. I would
This
never
was-
choose
This was a blind pick.
to.
Well, I
and
did
kept
warn
showing
you.
up on lists. Yeah.
Last time we spoke, I was like, "Hey guys, just heads up. Eden Lake might be like I hadn't rewatched it yet, and I hadn't seen it in probably 15 years. So I was like, I remember it being nasty. I don't remember how nasty it gets, but just just beware."
So that's our warning to you.
Yeah. So, any trivia for this one, Ted?
Just barely. I mean, there's what IMDb considers trivia sometimes is questionable. So I'll just read the one thing I thought was sort of interesting. When Jenny stares into the mirror before attacking and killing Cooper, you can just make out etched onto the mirror of the old park information board, the most dangerous animal in the forest. I didn't catch that, but I watched it on, like I said, Hoopla or Canopy or something, and it looked like it was shot with a potato. So
Potato Vision.
I kind of want to try to make a movie with a potato now.
potato cut.
Yeah. Potato cut.
I want to see it remastered in Potato K.
Tuber Vision.
Tater Vision.
Tater Vision.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so what is our next vacation destination stop?
Our next vacation destination is to a lovely beach in Australia for a long weekend.
Listen to the sound of evil. It is out there, waiting.
I'm sorry for this.
Powerful, deadly, invisible. They came to take a holiday. Now, they are running for their lives. Because something is out there. There are secrets. There are mysteries. There are forces beyond imagination. Challenge them, and every living creature, every blade of grass will turn against you. Prepare yourself for the fright of your life.
Christ!
Long weekend. An experience in terror and suspense.
Directed by Colin Eggleston, written by the great Everett DeRoche. This is the story of a married couple, Peter, played by John Hargreaves, and Marcia, played by Brian E. Bietz, who are clearly having some marital difficulties. And they decide that there's a long weekend, a holiday weekend coming up, and they're going to try to patch things over whatever it is that has gone wrong with their relationship by spending the weekend together. And Peter just sort of unilaterally decides that they're going to go to the beach, and it's a horrible place that they're, at least according to Marcia, it is. It has not been developed at all. It's total wilderness. They're roughing it. All of her friends and their significant others are going to nice resort towns and things, and she's a little jealous about it. But Peter wants to play Jungle Jim, and this is one of those movies. I absolutely fucking love this movie. So, I mean, I'm assuming that's why Mike assigned it to me, because he watched it and was like, "Oh, this seems like a Brian thing."
It seemed like a Brian thing before I watched it. So.
Sure. So it's kind of a Nature Strikes Back movie, and if you look at it just as that, it is. It's Nature Strikes Back to an almost elemental level. It's not just like Day of the Animals where some animals turn, but literally all of nature seems like it's trying to push these people out of their campsite. And it's about the way humans interact with nature so carelessly and, treating it like it's just theirs to do whatever with. And maybe that's why it's striking back. But then you catch these little snippets of like radio and TV shows that weird things are like people are being attacked by cockatoos, and it's, again, if you turn to say something to someone else in the room, you'd miss that little detail and think that this is only happening to these two people. But it's also about their marriage falling apart, and it may or may not be a ghost story. There's just so much going on here, and this is probably the fourth or fifth time I've watched this, and I'll watch it a bunch more. And this is a movie that really pays off being watched many times because you pick up so many great little details. This and Patrick, also written by Everett DeRoche, who also wrote two of my absolute probably my two favorite Australian movies other than this one, and just two of the best movies you'll ever see anyway, Road Games and Razorback. So this and Patrick were two of the earliest international hits out of Australia, and two of the first Australian movies that weren't period pieces. There were lots of things like Mad Dog Morgan, and we talked about one, Nightmare Inn, I think it was called, sort of a weird Western. That had some vague horror elements, but was mostly just a Western. But at the time this was made, it came out in 77, didn't hit other shores until 78, but Australia didn't really have a film industry as such. They had an Australian National Film Board, but they were focused mostly on documentaries until public pressure kind of made them branch out, and they started with TV and a few art films. But it wasn't until Wake and Fright in 1971, which wasn't even made by Australians, by the way, even though it was based on an Australian novel, came out, and that's got Donald Pleasance in it. It's also a fantastic movie. That's when the floodgates really started to open, and tons of exploitation movies, especially, and then we got to know it's like Ozploitation, and that's the biggest export. But there are lots of other kinds of, non exploitation movies that were made in Australia too. But so it's kind of amazing to think that their film industry was not even a decade old by the time this movie was made in any serious professional capacity. John Hargreaves won Best Actor at Sitges for his performance and was actually buried with his award. He was very, very proud of that. They fought to shoot this in anamorphic widescreen because some of the producers didn't want to, because it makes TV sales harder, because if it's shot that way you have to do pan and scan to put it on TV, and that's an extra expense and nobody thinks it looks good. But man, when you see those wilderness vistas, right, like the shots out over the ocean or along the cliffs and the shoreline, like it was the right decision to do that. It flopped on its initial domestic release because Australians don't think the Australian wilderness is threatening and weird because they live there. But to anyone from any other country in the world, it looks like a fucking alien planet because there's just no place like Australia. And so after it flopped critically and financially in Australia in 77, they took it to Cannes, and they won a ton of awards. They got global distribution. It was actually the most successful Australian film of that year. On the commentary track, the executive producer, Richard Brennan, is talking about after about 10 minutes, he saw someone get up and walk out. And he was like, oh no, this is going to, like, everyone here is going to hate it just as much as they did in Australia. And so he got up and followed this guy out of the theater. And it's like, excuse me, sir, why, what did you not like about the movie? Why did you walk out? And he goes, oh, I'm a South American film distributor, and I walked out because I have other stuff to do, and I only needed that first 10 minutes to know I'm going to buy this thing. And he said by the end of that first day, they had 3 or 4 other sales, and by the end of the week of Cannes, it was all over the world. So yeah, this one didn't hit very well at home, but once foreign audiences saw it, they really took onto it. But yeah, as I said before about it being potentially a ghost story, we do eventually find out that what has happened to these people's marriage is that they had gotten pregnant. Neither one really wanted to get an abortion, but neither one really wanted a kid then too. So they got an abortion, and she almost died during the operation. And now she has absolutely no sex drive at all and will not let him touch her. And in the very opening shots of the movie, you see him coming out of a store with this big package that he then takes home and you see his wife coming out of the house and think, oh, maybe he bought her some flowers or something. No, it's a big fucking gun that he bought to take out in the wilderness to just shoot random things on the beach, kill ducks and whatever he can find because he's a fucking asshole. But as he's walking out of the store, he is walking out with this really pretty young girl and gives her a kiss, and they have this, you don't hear any dialogue, but they have this interaction like, there's something else going on there. And then later when you find out that their relationship has become completely devoid of any kind of physical interactions. Like, oh, there's another layer to it. He resents her for not wanting to have sex with him, so he's cheating on her. She probably has figured out that he's cheating on her. They both resent each other for this abortion, and there's just this whole ongoing nightmare of these two kind of psychologically torturing each other. And that results in them never getting to leave this fucking beach, because there are a couple of moments where they both agree, like, okay, yeah, things are going weird. Like, we're getting attacked by ants and eagles. Well, the eagle they deserve because she stole its egg. But, their campsite is just going insane. Mold is infesting their food when it shouldn't. Like, and that's what I mean about it being such a thorough Nature Strikes Back. It is all of nature. The fucking plant life is after them. It's not just, a couple of dangerous animals. And he's going surfing, and she sees this shadow in the surf, and so she's yelling at him thinking there's a shark. And they end up taking some shots at it with this gun he bought, and it turns out to be a manatee, a dugong. But she starts hearing this weird noise, and he kind of teases her about it, being like, oh, I've heard when a baby manatee is in distress, its cries can sound like a human baby. And she has this visceral reaction like you just hit her.
Yeah, dick move.
Yeah. So she thinks that they're being haunted by the ghost of this baby that they aborted. And this manatee, even after he shot it and it washes up on the shore, they try to bury it because it's gross. And it keeps, like, every time they turn away from it and they come back to the beach, it's moved. But it's clearly dead. So there's like, is someone fucking with us? And there are people farther down the beach also camping there, but then they disappear. And like, they can't figure out what happened to the adults, but their kid winds up drowned in the car in the ocean. Like, the kid had panicked and tried to drive the car away and plowed into the ocean and couldn't get out. There's never that idiot moment, like the weird thing with the phone in Eden Lake, where, God damn it, that doesn't even work that way, or why don't you just do this? Because they're assholes, but they never, every dumb situation or dumb decision they make that digs them deeper and deeper into this situation isn't because they're stupid generally or acting dumb because the script needs them to. It's the result of one or the other of them realizing, if I make this worse, the other person will be upset. So everything that worsens their situation is because they just cannot stop picking at each other until it literally kills them.
Which I think it makes it hard for me to watch, just like the bickering back and forth and the tension in a couple. Like, that bothers me.
It's not fun.
No.
This is not a traditionally enjoyable movie.
No,
which is why I love it so much.
I usually, I saw a Long Weekend. I'd never heard of it. Did not watch the trailer. Just started playing it. I'm like, oh, it's going to be an animal attack movie in Australia. Hell yeah, I'm all about it. And then I'm like, oh, this is just a Debbie Downer. Everything about it. These people, like, I can't say I cared about them, like, in Eden Lake, because I'm like, they're both just sort of miserable and hate each other, and
I was not invested in them at all.
No, I'm like, I hope they both die. I hope nature just kills them both and this movie ends soon. It's like, it fucked with my anxiety in a way where I'm just like, just get along for a second. And I know that's what the point is. That means they did their jobs well, and it was made to do that. But I just sort of wanted to turn off my brain and watch giant spiders and
killer manatees.
Yes. And I didn't want to see them killing animals and throwing the eagle egg. I'm like, well, fuck yeah, take them and fly away. Like, I was rooting for the animals.
I can assuage you that no animals were. Well, I guess they did spray those ants with.
I was going to say, in my trivia, I'll have a spoiler. The possum that bites Peter had to be heavily tranquilized so it would move slow enough to be seen attacking him on film.
Yep, they talked about that because the commentary, because Colin Eggleston and Everett DeRoche both died years ago. John Hargreaves died a long time ago. I think they said Brian E. Bates is gone. So it was the executive producer and the cinematographer. And the cinematographer was talking about what a pain in the ass that possum was. He had no idea they could move that fast. And that shooting at 24 frames per second, he said the possum must have been moving at like 48. Because every time they try to shoot it, it literally did not show up on film. Wow. Like they could not, it moved so fast, it was just a blur. Like, so they had to give it a shitload of drugs to make it move slow enough.
And if that's the slow version, it still exploded on.
I know. I'm glad, that I'm sure it wasn't fun for it to be sedated, or maybe it was. I don't know, but I'm glad they didn't hurt it because man, those things are so cute.
I was gonna say
way cuter than American possums.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's weird how like I watched it. I'm like, is that a possum? Because it doesn't look like a American possum, but I find American
thing with the same name.
Yeah, I think what we have here in America is pretty adorable in its own way too.
Oh, yeah,
totally. So ugly, it's adorable.
Oh no, I just love them. They're sweet little guys. But they did not kill the kangaroo. They had written that scene had been written because at the time, and still, but like back then even more so, kangaroo there are like deer here when they get really bad, and there's constantly you see them splattered all over the road. So that scene was written in thinking this is going to be fucking easy. We can just have a shot of a completely unrelated live kangaroo, zoom in on the front of the car and make it look like it got hit, and then we'll show the dead body after we find one. The day they went out to shoot, they could not find a fucking kangaroo to save their lives.
Nature was
there was
fucking
just
with the
none of them for miles. Yeah. And so they had to spend a shitload of money out of the budget to have somebody in another part of Australia find a road-killed kangaroo, put it on an airplane, and fly it to them so they could run it over again.
Oh, my goodness. Well, this is one I've been wanting to see for a long, long time. It was a Australian horror film that flew under my radar for years. And so I'm going to chalk part of it up as my expectations were skewed. It's funny you mentioned Day of the Animals because that's exactly what I have on my notes. I was hoping for more of a Day of the Animals type of nature gone wild type of film. And it is not. To me, the nature revenge aspect of the story never escalates beyond what I considered to be normal, with the exception of the stalking dead manatee. But you're gonna leave food out at night. Yes, a wild animal's probably gonna come along and try to eat it. And then like when you approach it, it's probably gonna feel threatened and attack you. If you steal an eagle's egg and smash it, yeah, the eagle's probably going to attack you. Again, leaving food out, yeah, ants are probably going to get into it. So it just really didn't feel like, for me and my expectations, especially of 70s Nature's Gone Wild type films, it never really escalated to my expectations of that.
Because you were expecting something kooky and over the top, and that's what I was saying about, like, this plays into more of the way people interact with nature as the animal attack, where you're right, some of it isn't really even readable as nature attacking or striking back. It's just these people are so shitty and confident in the fact that, like, well, we belong here and nature can't do anything to us. Like when Peter just starts chopping that tree down in their camp. Yeah. Not for a reason. They don't need it for firewood. And he doesn't even finish chopping it down. He just mangles it out of, like, just because he's bored and, like, I'm going to destroy something.
Yep. Yeah. And there's definitely a lot of that. He's, like, throwing his beer bottles all over the beach and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, throwing them into the water and then shooting them with his rifle.
Oh, yeah.
So that all the shattered glass sinks into the surf so the next person that comes and swims in that beach is going to fucking cut their feet open, or some animal's going to try to swallow it.
Yep.
Like I was saying, everything they do just makes things so much worse because they're just being awful, whether it's to each other or to nature or to whatever. Wasn't Cricket cute?
Yeah.
They were originally going to use Everett DeRoche's dog to be Cricket, just, to save money. He's like, I have a dog. We'll just put her in the film. You don't have to pay me. But she was super friendly and couldn't act. Like, every time they'd turn the camera on, she'd just run up to somebody and want pets, wagging her tail. Like, God damn it, dog, you're supposed to do stuff. So they had to get a stunt dog, and the stunt dog was overweight. Like, you could see in the movie, like, she's kind of a chonker. And they were so
a real
afraid.
body double.
Yeah, and they were so afraid that she was going to have a heart attack because there were so many scenes where she had to run up and down the beach with Peter. And they're like, oh my God, please don't let us kill this poor dog.
So yeah, maybe down the road I'll give it another shot and have a different perspective on it, but especially now knowing what to go into with it. But there's a lot of this movie I was bored, I was not invested in the characters, and I didn't feel like there was a big enough payoff. So yeah, I wasn't a fan. Sorry, Brian.
Oh, that's okay. Something, then this is like you guys, Mike and Jason, as filmmakers, probably appreciate is it, and as the movie progresses, to add an extra layer of subliminal oppression, just as things keep getting, they keep getting deeper and deeper into trouble, they start to desaturate the color in the filming. If you watch it again, like, you'll even notice like the color of their car gets dimmer in the second half of the movie. And they even sprayed dust all over the plants around the campsite, as though to suggest that like their presence is so toxic in every sense of the word that the plants around their campsite are just like,
I thought I saw that,
dying out of sheer misery.
Yeah. Yeah, this is another one I didn't enjoy, but I can at least appreciate the weird little eco-horror machine that it's trying to be. Basically that a miserable couple taking their miserable relationship to the beach, treating nature like a trash can, and then acting shocked when nature starts acting like it has a grievance department. The atmosphere is probably the strongest thing here. The animal sounds, the isolation, the sense that the entire landscape is quietly rooting against them. I didn't really care about Peter and Marcia much, but I'm not totally sure the movie wanted me to. It feels less like a vacation horror and more like Mother Nature watching two awful people unpack a cooler and then immediately deciding, nope, not on my beach.
It's like Tad with those old ladies at the movie earlier.
See, and that's part of the problem when you got characters that you just don't like. And a movie like this that you can probably throw into the slow burn category, then that's when it feels like a real slow burn, because that's when I get bored, because I don't care what happens to these two.
And the movie weaponizes that pretty well.
Yeah.
That they're not cool.
All right, trivia.
Well, Brian touched on most of the things I had, which is fine. I had a few things. The decision to have rainy weather in the early driving scenes was an effort to hide the fact that the interior scenes in Peter's Jeep were actually filmed inside a garage. During the shooting, Grips would run past carrying flashlights to make it appear like they were lights from passing cars.
Poor man's process.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the mysterious shadow near Peter in the ocean was actually made by a crude structure of trash bags that was being pushed along through the water by Richard Brennan, who was submerged just below it.
Nice. It worked.
Yep. So low budget filmmaking and flying dead kangaroos and drugged possums. That's what this movie's about.
All right. So as we sit here separating our Skittles by color, Jason, what's our next film?
Our next film is from 2020 with Mike's girlfriend, The Rental.
Let me show you out back, and then I'll get out of your hair. The stars are insane out here.
I should have brought the telescope.
What do you need a telescope in the city for? Unless you're like a peeping Tom or something.
That's not a camera.
Get through the night. We leave first thing in the morning.
What's going on?
I don't know.
This will be over soon, I promise.
This will never be over.
Look, this is not okay, Charlie, all right? Stop being so calm. Everything is fine.
Forgot how much I like this score. God dang. The Rental is a 2020 vacation horror film directed by Dave Franco, starring Allison Brie, Mike's girlfriend, Dan Stevens, Tad's boyfriend, Sheila Vand, and Jeremy Allen White as two couples who rent a beautiful seaside house for a weekend getaway that immediately starts giving off the kind of maybe we should have read more than 3 reviews energy. What begins as a tense relationship drama full of secrets, jealousy, bad decisions, and one very questionable property owner who's great. I love that dude. Who's also in Widow's
Toby
Bay.
Huss, yeah.
Yep. Slowly turns into something much nastier when the group realizes their perfect Airbnb-style escape may not be as private as they thought. I actually do like this one quite a bit. The cast is great. The location's gorgeous. It's well shot. It's well paced. And Dave Franco, sorry, Mike, does a nice job keeping everything uncomfortable before the full horror kicks in.
That's fine. He can continue to direct. That means he's off screen.
Has 2 of my boyfriends in it. I love Jeremy Allen White, too.
I almost said that. That said, because this is apparently our vacations are bad and everyone dies episode, even the people who didn't cheat, lie, or generally ruin the weekend still get punished, which feels less like karma and more like the movie saying, "Thanks for booking with us. Checkout is never." But yeah, I've seen this one before. I liked it then. I like it now. It looks great. It's a beautiful movie. I like it.
I saw it at the drive-in.
Woohoo!
Nice.
Yeah. In 2020, it was like, I think it might have been paired with In a Violent Nature.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I dig the hell out of it too. And for some reason, I saw this, now it's been 6 years, which is crazy, but I forgot Dan Stevens in it. When I saw him pop up, I'm like, fuck yeah. I just remembered Allison Brie and was like, fuck yeah. So the whole cast is just great to look at, and great performances. And I think, like you said, the film looks gorgeous. The production value is very high. But I personally just get so mad because Dan Stevens, I root for him in every movie, and then when he cheats, I'm like, dude, bro, what are you doing? You're such an idiot. Like, you have a hot girl. What are you doing?
That's why Mike hates this movie with a passion.
It's in my notes that, like, oh, wait, I'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Never mind.
But it's interesting, like, how it sort of, the red herring obviously is the landlord, and then they find the cameras, and it's like, oh, this guy's a perv. And then it takes that big swing of, like, they get in the fight, Jeremy Allen White whoops his ass and throws him in the tub, and then the guy comes in and, kills him. And it's like, wait, so he's not the bad guy. Oh, shit. And when they finally sort of reveal it towards the end, this masked killer, it feels a little disjointed there still.
Well, did your mind go to after Toby Huss was killed, that it was the brother? Because you kept talking about how the property is his brother's.
Actually, his brothers and brothers, And then,
but then you're thinking too, though, that there's got to be some kind of connection between these 4 people and this brother.
Right, but it's sort of a stranger's thing, because then we see the footage during the credits that he has other Airbnbs that he's watching these people in, and
interesting post, or end little tie at the end there. That
Well, that's the thing that saved this movie more than anything else for me, because I was a little bit bitter by the end of not learning who the killer is, because I felt like it was supposed to be set up to be a reveal of some kind. And then I'm like, oh, we're not going to find out? That's kind of lame. That's bad writing. But then when you get into that credit sequence, that this is more of a random thing, that this is a serial killer whose motive is to stalk people in Airbnbs, that sold it to me, that this is just a random thing. And so I like the movie a lot more thanks to that credit sequence.
Yeah, I dig that, like not everything has to. That's what I sort of like The Strangers or Halloween, before they turn it into Michael chasing his sister. It was just like, because you're there, because he can.
Well, yeah, and I get that. I agree with you 100%.
But the way they set it up.
I just had a feeling through most of this movie that there's some kind of connection to who's doing this for a particular reason.
I sort of got in that mind space of the classic, it goes back to Twilight Zone, when the aliens are watching on the street, and the power goes out and someone's house, their power turns on, and suddenly the humans are going after each other. Like, this person sets up the saying, but you can't really blame the killer on these two people cheating. But suddenly, everybody in the house is fighting each other and hating each other, and they're sort of bickering amongst themselves, and that's, sort of what leads to this even worse situation. But I don't know. I went in with this no expectations when I saw it to drive-in, and I think, again, talking about this, the experience of seeing it at the drive-in was really cool. It's not necessarily a grimy, bloody. It's certainly not Eden Lake, which is a drive-in movie. This one's not so much a drive-in movie. It looks really nice at home on my nice big 4K TV too. But I'm pretty impressed. Dave Franco's directorial debut. He got a killer cast. It's a simple sort of home invasion slasher whodunit, and it held up on my second watch. So I can't wait for Brian to tell us why he didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm so bummed because I peeked and he's one-starred it, and I just assumed it's because it took place, in the last 20 years. So.
I mean, you one-starred my favorite movie.
I know.
Tonight, so it's
only fair. I've been preparing myself all day. Just kidding.
You didn't make it, so why do you care if Brian
kidding.
liked it? I know.
I'm just kidding.
No, I fucking hate this movie. Aside from some slick production and Alison Brie being hot, this movie has absolutely fucking nothing going for it. It's boring. The characters are vapid and dumb, and the performances aren't bad. Like you said, it does have a good cast, so I guess it has that going for it too. But it's like Dave Franco wanted to make, thought he was making elevated horror, and so he made a slasher movie with none of the elements that make slasher movies enjoyable. So there's no gore, it's completely toothless, there's no, you never feel like there's any stakes, there's no nudity, there's nothing sleazy in it, there are no interesting themes in it. Everything that happens is just because these people are fucking stupid and terrible, and because the script needs them to be. And let's see, what else?
Page 2 of my notes of hating this movie.
Yeah, it's just, man, there's just nothing here. And then, like Mike was saying, it spends the whole time building up to you thinking it's building to a reveal. And the fact that it does all that, and then at the literally the last minute says, oh no, never mind, this was just completely random. Well then, who fucking cares? And yes, having, in The Strangers or in Eden Lake, having things be just wrong place at the wrong time, that is a great way to build tension. But when you spend your whole fucking movie making your audience think that it's going somewhere and then pulling that rug out oh, never mind, we just ran out of ideas. That's fucking lazy. You didn't use it as a tool to build tension. It was just a last minute switcheroo because you wrote yourself into a corner or something. I mean, I
guess
don't think they
I don't
wrote
see
themselves
what
into
you
a
and-
corner because I don't think anyone did any writing on this movie.
I
But
don't see what you and Mike are talking about. Like, I do not feel that they were going to a reveal. I never once considered who that was even important who was in that mask. Like, it wasn't even part of the
They kept
story.
dropping clues that this whole thing had been engineered. If you're going to do that, you need to tell us who the engineer is. And if you're going to have it be a completely creepy random thing, don't have all these red herrings like the brother who winds up getting stabbed in the bathtub. Like, just
It
bad.
just felt like
It's
the chain
bad
of
and
event.
lazy.
The chain of so I was sitting here thinking about why it felt that way to me, and I think it's just because the chain of events seemed to conveniently fall into place on purpose. Like, the camera's there because we know these two are going to cheat. The showing Allison Brie the footage at just the right time. It's like going into whoever's doing this, going in knowing that these two are married, but these two have way too much of sexual tension that something's going to happen, and to deepen the hole that they've dug themselves in on trying to hide the infidelity. Now we have a dead body on our hands, and it's the killer that kills Toby Huss in order to deepen that hole. Is that making any sense?
Yeah.
Okay. It felt like these were pawns in a bigger game that was premeditated.
But the cameras aren't there because he knows they're going to cheat.
Yeah, but we know that by the end.
Then
I
if
didn't
they're
know that
pawns in
ahead of time.
If they're pawns in a bigger game that's premeditated, then again, that's what I mean about that reveal that rug pull at the end is so dumb, because if you're setting this up as a premeditated thing, we need to know who premeditated it. That's important. And especially, like, it felt like it was trying to, like, almost like a last minute setup for a sequel. Like, that it wasn't even a creative decision. It was just hey, in case this makes money, put this in there.
I mean,
and watching it back to back with something so incredibly detailed and deliberate as Long Weekend, I guess, it just made it extra frustrating too. Because this was the first one I watched out of just like, okay, let's just get this out of the way, because there's almost no way I'm going to enjoy this. So let's just choke down the vegetables so we can get to dessert. Except it's the other way around. This is the calorieless, or the empty calorie fluff, and the nutritious vegetables was the Long Weekend. But
I watched it first for completely different reasons. So I do like this one, but not just because of Allison Brie, but it helps. I can't. I'll get my two negatives. My two negatives out of the way first. I got a little eye rolly at the flirtation between the two people that ended up, cheating.
The coworkers.
Yeah, that just was so in our faces from frame one between those two. Like the second. Yes.
I didn't know that they were flirty in the office. Tiffany had to be like, what's going on with those two? And I'm like, what?
I thought it was setting up that they were in a relationship until we find out differently.
Yeah, it felt like that in that scene. Yeah, when they're in the office together. I thought they were the couple. Yeah.
And I can't read social cues for shit, and I thought they were fucking before we found out otherwise.
Yeah.
So, okay, but yeah, I mean, to me, it felt like it was so forced in our faces. Like, hey, yeah, see these two? Yeah.
Sexual tension.
Yeah. I mean, even when they are with their significant others, the connection between those two just was like, hey, calm down. You're like husbands. Your wife's right there, and your boyfriend's right there. But so definitely saw that coming my way. And then my only other complaint, and it's one of my little isms of latching onto something insignificant, but when they start going and searching for like who's doing this? Like, where's the footage at? Why are they sifting through boxes? Like,
Yeah,
they're looking for the live feed or whatever, but
yeah, and they're
it's
like,
not going to be in a box in the basement.
Look for a router, or look for
they're
looking
digging
for
through boxes in the basement. Like what?
Yeah, I thought that was sort of weird. Like, just look for an electronic plugged into something.
It was definitely one of those scenes. Like
She went back to that box at least twice. I'm like, what? You already? Yeah.
it was one of those scenes like they were not directed on what to do, and so like, well, we got these boxes.
They shot that first. They didn't even know what the movie was doing yet.
All right, but overall, I liked it. I mean, Alison Brie, obviously, big fan of Toby Huss. Anybody who plays Weird Al's father in Weird Al Yankovic Story is okay in my book.
He's on Widow's Bay too, by the way.
I don't know Widow's Bay, but I also know him from he showed up a lot in Reno 911. So because of that, I need to make sure Brandy sees this movie. 'Cause she's a big Toby Huss fan.
He's definitely one of those guys.
Those guys for sure. He first came on my radar when I saw him in Glow, when he was in the 3rd season of Glow. So.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like how it flips from being like a cover up of a crime, and it keeps going down the rabbit hole, and the rabbit hole keeps getting bigger and bigger. Like a Simple Plan. Like every time they try to fix things, it just gets worse. And that's great to watch because these two people deserve it. And then it flips the script and becomes a slasher. I liked it. I liked the flipping the script on that. But for me, the only real payoff is knowing then it is random. And so I'm glad they gave us that little bit at the end credits, because if it would have just left off where before the credits rolled, I'd have been like, what? We're not going to find out?
You also reminded me of maybe my favorite thing is Alison Brie has the most honest moment in horror movie history. A character, she was just like, she reacted like a normal human would for the first time in any movie ever. It seemed like she was like, "No,
we're not going to cover this up. We've killed somebody.
This is bad, guys." It was that. I liked that. Honest moment.
I agree too, and obviously I'm invested enough in the movie that when you kill off Alison Brie, I don't shut the movie off. So if I'm continue to watch, even though
That's
she's
Mike's
out of the
version
picture,
of killing the dog.
yeah, exactly. But also these characters are rather kind of one-note generic. I'm not overly invested in them. I think it helps more of the actors and the performances rather than how the characters are written. So yeah.
And guess what else Toby Huss is in? I mean, a million things. Bobcat Goldthwait's Misfits and Monsters. Just another reason for you to watch that.
I need to. He's also, Brian, was it you and I that have talked about Zardon, Cow from Hell? Or was that
Cow from Hell?
Okay, maybe not.
Is that what you said? No, I've never seen. I thought you were going to say Zardoz. Like, yeah, I've seen Zardoz.
Who
But
did I have this conversation with? Maybe it was Justin. There's this
I don't
like.
know, but that seems like I need to see this now.
There is a kind of a lost film that was shot in Iowa back in the late '80s by a comedy troupe called Duck's Breath Mystery Theater. They used to have stuff played on the Dr. Demento show. So when I found out they made a movie and it was called Zardon, Cow from Hell, I was like, I need to see this. But even being a boy who's grown up in Iowa and lived in Iowa most of his life, I've never been able to find this movie. I did find out it is at one point it was streaming for free on YouTube. So
Sounds like it would make a great double feature with Barn of the Blood Llama.
Toby Huss.
And Toby Huss is in it, yeah.
Born in Marshalltown, Iowa.
Holy balls! So that's why he's in.
That's why he's so cool.
I was going to say.
Love him even more now.
Get him at Halloween Palooza, but looking at his IMDb, this guy doesn't fucking stop working. Holy shit. Like, he has 10 movies in 2019. I forget. I was trying to remember what I knew him from. The new Halloween trilogy. He plays Ray.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay.
He's in everywhere.
He's everywhere. Love him.
What does he think? He's John Carradine?
King of the Hill, Beavis and Butthead.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. Do you have any trivia for the rental?
Technically, there's some on IMDb, but it's, I guess, filmed in Band in Oregon at an actual beach rental. That's really the only thing worth mentioning.
It's beautiful property.
Yeah. Okay, I just have to say this one is really fucking stupid. It's hidden by spoilers. You click on it, it says the end credits is footage from hidden cameras in the man's next Airbnb.
Whoa.
Trivia. Whoa. I had no idea. So stupid.
I was just going to if this film is effective or not, Jason, if the first thing you do when we're going to go to the B&B in a couple weeks is check the shower heads for cameras.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got nervous about
Then this
going.
movie worked.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's rank these mofos. Jason?
Oh, it's the rental. Next.
There's no two.
No, then Long Weekend, and then Eden Lake can fuck off.
Okay. Brian?
Eden Lake, or excuse me, the Long Weekend way the fuck out in front. Then Eden Lake. And did we watch another movie?
Yep.
Let's keep that joke rolling. No, the rental is one I will never ever watch again.
Fair enough. Tad?
Favorite is the rental. Then I will go Eden Lake, then Long Weekend.
Okay. I am going rental, Long Weekend, and then Eden Lake. Yeah. There you go. This is a tough one, I think. Best kill.
When they throw the eagle egg.
Ooh.
It made me hungry for scrambled eggs, for sure.
I'd make an
Brian,
omelet.
what's that?
I'd eat an omelet out of an eagle egg. It's like the most American thing you can do, right?
In this, our 250.
All right, Brian?
Yeah, so my favorite kill is not really the most graphic or explicit one or anything like that, but I feel like out of the movies, it is the most cathartically satisfying. It's the girl getting hit by the car in Eden Lake.
Okay.
Okay. Damn it, yeah. I should have went with that. You're absolutely right. Tad?
Yeah, throw on the egg.
Okay. All right, Jason?
Eagle abortion.
You don't know that egg was fertilized.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay. So, I'm going to change my answer to go with the girl that gets hit by the car in Eden Lake, because, yes, that was definitely
Redemption.
a fist-pumping moment for me.
Yeah, because when she stabs that kid, when she's standing by that big information display thing, like, that's kind of a reaction out of surprise. Like, she's not that, like, she's a little traumatized by it, but by the time that girl gets taken down, like, she's just in full on fuck these people mode.
Yeah.
I struggled trying to remember a lot of the kills, and every time I was really trying to break it down, the only thing that kept popping into my head was when they set the other kid on fire. And so
that's a good one too. That is fucking terrifying, that moment.
It's brutal, it's heartbreaking, and they barely show it. Like, it's mostly through audio.
And that's what makes it worse. Like,
screaming.
if they had just, if they'd lingered on, like, a burning mannequin or whatever, it just would not have had the same impact. But the fact that they don't show it and you're kind of experiencing it from her perspective, hearing those screams and, like, her knowing that she was kind of responsible for it a little bit, or at least she feels like she was. Like, yeah, that is rough.
Yeah.
It's as innocent as it gets.
Yeah. But I would say my initial reaction was that it's the best kill. Definitely not my favorite kill. Because it is so freaking...
probably the most emotionally affecting kill.
Yeah, that's 1,000% true. Yeah. Like, I felt more for that poor kid in that moment than anything that happened to her fiance boyfriend in the movie. So,
yeah.
Okay, there we go. Setting kids on fire. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will finish off the show with our last two segments. But first, you're going to hear a promo for our podcast network, the Prescribed Films Podcast Network. The PFPN is home to so many great shows like the title of the show that I have to say slowly, the Cinnamon Movie Podcast. The podcast of all podcasts. The podcast that makes me want to have Cinnamon Toast Crunch for breakfast. The Cinnamon Movie Podcast breaks down all kinds of films, discussing entertainment news. They have their very own top 5 segment every week, and so much more. So you can check out the Cinnamon Movie Podcast and all the other shows at thepfpn.com. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy.
Welcome back.
Visit our
Now it's time
website
to
with
hear
links
from
to
you
all the
guys,
other
the
amazing
listeners.
shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
All right, we asked, what are your favorite horror movies that take place during vacation? And we got some good answers over in the Facebook group, the group edition. Up first, we got Reebster. Mike Reeb says, been a while, but I got a few here. Friday the 13th, part 3, 4, and 7 have more of the vacation feel for at least half of the characters. True. Hostel 2, I knew Hostel would come up somewhere. The Lady Batheroy scene kind of fucked me up. Hostel 2. And how about some classy, trashy Euro sleaze with The Devil's Nightmare? Erica Blanc is always pretty epic.
Mm-hmm.
And then Reeb and Brian go on to a conversation later in the comments. Up next, we got Josh Ramos says, if fall break counts as a vacation, then I'd have to go with The Mutilator. Yep. Okay.
It sure does count.
Sure does.
Fall break.
Fall break. Over on our Facebook page, we got Attacker Tim Lennerer says, the representation sample of The Good Stuff, Open Water, Midsummer, Red Snow, Final Destination. The opening psychic vision is on a plane going to France, if I remember right. Us, Long Weekend, Wrong Turn, The Cabin in the Woods, and of course the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Hills Have Eyes have earned their places at the top of the charts. For that matter, the first 2 Evil Dead movies are spam in a vacation cabin as well. Zombieverse is the best possible movie to have that title, which means it's worth 3 stars out of 5. And for my actual recommendations to all, Highway to Hell starts with a couple eloping to Vegas until they accidentally run afoul of Satan's own traffic cop. Want to see a pre-fame Ben Stiller as Attila the Hun and Gilbert Godfrey as Adolf Hitler? There's your breakfast. Available on Tubi, because of course it fucking is. And then it was pretty great. Then Rod starts giving them shit for taking all the movies. And then they're like, if you just keep listening to them, Jason has to keep reading them. And I did. And they go on and on for a while. We got Lisa Mary says, from the Bad Movie Bunny podcast, says, you can't go wrong with the 1986 opus April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We got Jacob McLaughlin saying The Evil Dead 1 and 2, House from 1977, The American Werewolf in London, Get Out, Us, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Daughters of Darkness, various Friday the 13th movies, Blood Beat, Spring, Knock at the Cabin. I'm one of the small number of people that generally liked Old from 2021 quite a bit. I did too. Shyamalan, baby. Attacker Casey Kelderman. So y'all still like movies then, huh?
There it is.
There's just too many vacation horror movies to pick from. Why? Well, say them all because everyone else is. I will say the original Evil Dead for brevity because that's better than a group of young people going to a rundown cabin in the woods, reading from a book inked in blood and bound by human flesh and unleashing the undead upon themselves. Attacker Tiffany says, I haven't seen either of them in a while, but I remember thinking I never wanted to travel internationally after watching Hostel. And I loved the first Wrong Turn movie. Hey, me too.
Second one's pretty damn good, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Henry Rollins.
Yep. The man.
Joe Lynch.
Joe Lynch directed, yep.
Attacker Rose up next. Midsummer. Yeah. The Shallows. Love it. And Old. Heck yeah.
Tooth, the shout-outs were old.
That's right. I liked it. I think it's cool. And then a couple from Chris Thurman says Tourist Trap and Stream. I don't know that one myself.
No.
Okay. Denied. And then that's all we have on the social medias, but we did get a last-minute voicemail. Here we go.
Hey everybody, Attacker Brian here, and it sounds like this episode the crew is talking about horror movies that take place on vacation. Well, I got a double feature for you. The first one, from 2025, Brian Goes to South Dakota. It's the story of a middle-aged man whose family takes him to South Dakota, even though he was fucking scared of heights, and takes him to every goddamn mountain that has no guardrail, drives within inches of the road falling off to his untimely death. It's filled with fear. It's filled with old white men chiseled in the mountains. And it's filled with a trip crazy horse, which made me want to cry the whole goddamn time. It was the best times. It was the worst times. And the second movie is Brian Goes to House on the Rock, where his family takes him to a house 60 feet up in the air on a fucking rock. Every time you look down, there's nothing to catch. Where you go through room after room of cool shit, but you have to go 30 feet up in the air to get through the room.
Nobody
Another
telling
one
about the
for
Rockies or the
people.
Himalayas.
Where the fucking take me next year? Maybe the Mount Himalaya or who knows? Up a tree. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good vacation, a great summer, and take care. Bye-bye.
God, it sounds like he was still in the mountains. What's up with his reception?
Thank you, Godzilla. All right. Well, if you want to leave a voicemail, you certainly can. It's pretty easy. Give us a call at 415-952-6857, or that's 415-95-AOTKP. Give us a call. Leave a voicemail. We'll play it on the show, and that is shout-outs.
Jason, real quick.
Yeah.
Was it painful to read that list the whole time thinking, why didn't we watch any of these?
Yeah, maybe. Crossed my mind. I'm like, oh, there are so many of these? Great. Why these?
All different choices. All better choices.
No, that's all good.
All right.
And that's shout-outs.
Tired of Verbo? Has Airbnb failed you for the last time? Try Insane Mike's Spam in a Cabin to make your next vacation unforgettable. Each rental is equipped with a VCR and at least 15 unmarked VHS tapes for exciting family fun. What will your kids see when you push play? It could be Benji, or the extended German cut of Water Power. The fun never ends. Get 30% off your stay with promo code SLASHER at checkout. Insane Mike's Spam in a Cabin, it's the last vacation home rental service you'll ever use. Now, here's Insane Mike to tell you more.
I like Spam. America has so many great horror franchises. You got the Friday the 13th films, Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Sharknado. In Mexico, there was a franchise that doesn't get enough recognition, and that is the Aztec Mummy films.
Yes.
And I'm going to talk about my favorite of the franchise. That's right. From 1958, Robot versus the Aztec Mummy. A mad doctor builds a human robot in order to steal a valuable Aztec treasure from a tomb guarded by the ever-lovable, centuries-old living mummy Popoka. And the two do a massive, massive battle in the last 2 minutes of the film. Directed by Rafael Portillo, who directed all of the Aztec mummies, the Aztec Mummy trilogy, with the original, the Aztec Mummy, Curse of the Aztec Mummy, and then, of course, Robot versus the Aztec Mummy. He shot these films back to back, and they were released between 1957 and 1958. However, in I believe it's 1964, I didn't write down the year, they were released in the States in English dub by, yep, you guessed it, I didn't write his name down either, but K. Gordon Murphy. Yeah. The guy, I've talked about him before. I
almost guessed it.
He took a lot of the Mexican films and redubbed them in English to release here in the States. Angel Di Stefani, who was, I guess, probably the Robert Englund of mummy films, because he played Popoka in all three of the Aztec Mummy films. Now, there was a fourth film called Wrestling Women versus the Aztec Mummy from 1964, but it's not the same mummy. It's not Popoka, so in my opinion, that film is not part of the same franchise. Now, Robot versus the Aztec Mummy, you might say, is kind of the Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, or The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, because the beginning of the film is mostly just a clip show of the previous two movies. And it being just a little over an hour takes up a way too much chunk of the running time. But it is all worth it for that final fight between the mummy and the cardboard robot, which is the design of the robot makes Robot Monster look more like Optimus Prime. So you can find this movie probably just about anywhere. I know there's like tons of versions free on YouTube and whatnot. But also I believe it's on Tubi. So I highly recommend checking out Robot versus the Aztec Mummy. And that's a wrap on another episode of Attack of the Killer podcast. You know something? I think I learned a few things today. I learned if your wife is Alison Brie, why the hell would you ever cheat on her? That guy was a total moron, deserved everything he got. I also learned that when you go camping, find a better way to store your food, for crying out loud. It's obviously going to bring maggots and ants. So it's probably best just to bring canned food. You can follow us all over the internet. You can follow us on X, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and join us on our Discord to continue the conversation. We would love it if you would leave us a review wherever you can leave reviews, like on Apple Podcasts. That would be greatly appreciated. So thanks, everybody, for listening. And remember to keep watching horror movies. Talk to you next time.
Oh no, could this be the end of? Attack of the Killer!